What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Stereotherapy. I'm your host, Lisa, and this is episode 95, part 2. So, originally, I wasn't going to put out another episode this close to the holidays. I don't like to do it. I feel like it gets buried. And I thought, there's no need for it. But I had this extra kind of hot takes fun episode with Gibby left over from our conversation. And I'm like, you know what? I need to kind of check myself a little bit and realize that holidays don't look the same for everybody, that maybe for some reason, like podcasts, whether it's ours or other shows or music, is a comfort to people around now, and not all holidays look the same. So I thought, you know what? Why not this weekend when we are in the hustle and bustle of the holidays, whether you're in the car a lot, you're trying to wrap presents, you're doing whatever you're doing, or you're just trying to get through the holidays and you're going through a difficult time. If I can provide like a little bit of a laugh with some of these hot takes and just fun conversation, why not do it? So that's why that's why I chose to put this out, and I wanted to put this out just because. So I hope you enjoy it. It is shorter and obviously it is different. There's not too much talk about mental health, but we're focusing on music, and it's a fun episode. So it's a little different, but I think, yeah, it'll just be fun for you guys to kind of hear that. I appreciate Gibby so much. We were both podcasters, so we talked a lot on this thing. So it's really cool to now have the full thing out. I appreciate Gibby so much, and I'm so thankful that he wanted to come on my show. And I'm sure this isn't the last you will hear of anyone from Unsigned Pop Punk and Gibby himself, because I really love Gibby as a person. So yeah, there's that. But let's get into it. Here is part 2 of episode 95 with Gibby.
So hot take here. It's not even that hot, I don't think. A Fever You Can't Sweat by Panic at the Disco, easily their worst album.
Ooh.
It's not that good. I don't even know how people consider Panic at the Disco an emo band. And much love to you. Much love to you. I don't know how people consider Fall Out Boy an emo band.
Oh no. So we literally, again, my crossing the I's, INTs, we had this is where that came from. So we were talking about what people call emo. Fall Out Boy is not an emo band. We said that. My Chem is not an emo band. And we said, like, true emo to us, it was like, I think about those old school emo heads, like the Sunny Day Real Estates,
yeah.
things like that. I was like, I don't consider any of these bands that they say emo. That's elder emo. And I'll say it, whatever, but like elder emo. And then they say bands like Fall Out Boy, My Chem, Panic at the Disco. They're not an emo band. I don't know what they are. They're not
they're
even
just
pop. They're not pop punk.
I would consider them kind of pop punky. Not really, but like they're like they just had like the look, the fashion of it, and people are like, oh, this is emo. Because
what it is.
If people go listen to Fall Out Boy, they're just talking about sex.
Mm-hmm.
They're just horny. That's all they are.
That's all.
Panic at the Disco. Most like another band that's just kind of just a horny band. Oh, and Panic at the Disco. Here we go. Their newer albums are better. Literally, when it was just like Brandon Urie on, is their best stuff.
Oh, people are gonna be fighting words.
Their best stuff. Their last album, perfect. I thought that was the perfect album.
I liked their last record.
Like
there was
Viva La Vengeance.
Yeah, what was the other
one? Like from start to finish, perfect. I don't remember the one before that. The one that was like that had High Hopes. And Hey Look Ma, I Made It, also the best album.
Yes, because
that album so good too.
Oh, Hey Look Ma, I Made It. I'm like, that was always gonna be my song whenever I made it, like in the music world. I'm like, this is gonna be my song, but like, never happened yet.
Top 2 albums right there of their release, their whole catalog.
That's
actually, if you play their catalog backwards, I would say that's how it gets ranked. Like 1, 2, 3, like, I may be nice and put like A Fever You Can't Sweat not the very bottom, but probably one of their worst albums in my opinion.
And that's why, like, when they said that they're doing When We Were Young, right? They're doing that and they're playing that record immediately. The only thing I have about Panic playing When We Were Young right now, and it's just a thing I even had with Chiodos. It was not Chiodos. That was Craig Owens.
That was just Craig Owens, yeah.
And is this going to be Panic at the Disco, just Brendan Urie and Friends again? Or
I think it's going to be Brendan Urie and Friends again. Because I think the guitarist that he tours with also like posted the flyer. Okay. I think I saw someone say that. I can't confirm it, but that's what I saw. That's what I heard. Something like that. His like touring guitarist like also posted the flyer on his stories or something. So it could just
Yeah.
be out of excitement for a panic reunion.
It
But
just, I don't know. Like, I'm the only thing I had, and I kind of had a moment when we were young, and a lot of people thought, like, I obviously didn't go, but I watched it, people's content, and people are like, oh, you're being a hater because you didn't get for press. And I'm like, no, I am kind of over that nostalgia, cash grabby-ness of it.
yeah,
I love nostalgia. I do love it. I would have loved to have gone, yes, but
you remember?
I'm just
Do you
over
remember
it.
when everyone was saying this was a fake festival, and now those
Yeah.
people saying it are like going every year because it's the best
Oh,
festival?
everybody. And and that's the thing too. Even they did a Jason festival here in New Jersey, and it was like, I guess when we were young, but not really. But it had like Blink-182, it had Turnstile, it had
Yeah,
Paramore. But like I didn't go because it was an arm and a leg because it was during Memorial Day and on the beach in New Jersey. I'm like, this is gonna be an arm and a leg. Like I can't afford this. But not even that, like hotels during that time too. It's like at the
yeah.
shore. So it's like I can't afford this. But it's like even things like that, people thought that was a fake one. And until they came out and they were like, hey, no, like this is really happening. This is adjacent, like this is this. And I do love the nostalgia grabs at times, but at times I'm like even Warp Tour, I'm really on the fence of like, again, how are they gonna do it? I know that they before they ended it, it was similar. Like it was only certain dates. I understand how they did it and why. And I get why they're doing it. They're seeing, is there a need for this? Can it come back before? It's never going to be the way it was. But I'm like, dude, I just remember Warp Tour, you could do canned soup, you could go in, you could
Yep.
have the bands
Skip
just
the
give you
line.
skip the line, give you flyers, give you burned CDs and things like that. And like, would it I want that old school mentality of Warp Tour to come back to where again, the smaller bands, like you could go and you could meet so many cool small bands in the area and locals and also your favorite bands, or the nonprofits, all that cool stuff they
Oh
did.
yeah.
That's what I want out of it. I don't know if we're gonna get that. And again, I'm gonna have to see because I would love to see the lineup too. I want to see like what are they doing with this? Because I do think when we were young, when they announced the lineup was different, like definitely a lot more heavier bands this year. Definitely
Yeah.
a lot more just different. Because I
Got
think like
Let Live, the Cab. I'm
oh
so
they've
excited for those two.
oh yeah, I'm like I would love to see Let Live and I I
Let Live
oh
almost sold me on that just themselves.
Jason Alon is one of those someone bucket listed, but he is just I would love to see that. And it's like those smaller bands, like even the headliners, I'm not like, yay, like and again, I know a lot of younger people are just so excited because they didn't get to see Blink. I'm like, I know I'm lucky. I got to see them my
I
first
got to
concert.
see them and My Chemical Romance together.
So did yeah, I think I went to that
It was the Honda Civic tour in like
mhm.
2012, 2013, I
Yes,
think.
I went to that. It was them. Yeah, my chem. There was someone else I don't remember, but
I just remember them too. I don't remember the opener
yeah,
at
it
all.
it was someone else. I don't know, but they were like really, really, really. That tour was amazing. That was incredible, and that was when Danger Days was out. So it was like a different
Yeah.
set from them. But yeah, but like, yeah, no. I just there's some bands where I'm like, even the only problem I had with the When We Were Young lineup is some of these bands just played. Like I love the Used, and again, maybe they're thinking not everybody goes every year, but if you are a person that goes, you've
That
already
goes every year. Yeah.
you just saw the Used, you saw Taking Back Sunday, you just saw the starting line, you just saw, I don't know, there's someone else, but like bands like Let Live, like bands that will probably not tour. They're only going to probably play that show and
One
maybe
show and leave. Yeah.
I can just see that. Like I can see that with them.
Like Let Live Alone, like I said, is like almost sold. I was like, maybe. That was a
Mhm.
hard maybe right there. When I saw that, I was
Oh,
like, I might go to that just for Let Live.
oh,
Well, I
them
mean,
and
not
like
just for Let Live. Let me just clarify that right now. It's not just Let Live, but that would be the main reason.
oh, and there's so many like even like seeing like a name like Ice Nine Kills is on there, which is really
Like
cool.
the Cab, that was really cool to see them on there.
Yeah. And
And
like who
I'd
else?
have to look at that flyer again, but there was a lot of names that popped out where I was like, yes, 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 yes. Oh, here's something too, real quick. The rock, metal, like the whole scene in general, has an old problem. A lot of the bands that you see now that are like headlining big festivals that are like would be considered like to like like the casual like, oh yeah, I listen to the radio listeners, the ones that like those like Sonic Temples, Aftershock,
Mm-hmm.
they would hear like a Day to Remember and be like, oh yeah, that's a new band. Day to Remember has been around for 20 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I
like
mean,
we don't have like I wish rock and metal would take something for or like rock pop punk. The pop punk scene isn't as bad. You always see like older bands bringing out like the newer bands. Like Blink on the Blink 182 tour, they brought out the What the Fuck Is Up Denny's band
mm-hmm.
on some of the shows. I don't remember, I can't remember the name of that band, but
Yeah,
I
no,
just know it was the band that did that.
yeah.
They brought them out. But like we really need, like the scene really like just rock as a whole genre, all the subgenres, so metal, thrash metal, all that stuff really needs to take a page out of pop and hip hop and rap. There's consistently like new rap pop artists that are coming out, hip hop that are like new, like killing it. But for us, like it takes you like Motionless in White, for example. They're putting out some of the best stuff they put out. Yeah. But they're also being treated like, oh, this is like a new band.
Mm-hmm.
Also a band that's been around for like 15,
Yeah.
20 years now.
Yeah.
And like they're barely being treated like a new band. They're like we have like a bad mentality of bands need to pay their dues before they could do anything. Like it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, you do see that a lot where
It's mostly in those like big festivals where like they're not even like headlining bands. They're like the big classic rock bands, the new bands, and then the very small footprint of like
right.
new actual new bands.
Yeah. No,
But like,
it's
and
yeah.
those actual new bands are the ones that are killing it right now that should be up higher, but they're not old, so they're not gonna be up there.
And then yeah, that's yeah, because that's it's so when I hear other people talk about my brother-in-law is one of them. He's just now getting into the scene the past couple years, and he'll tell me about these bands. Like even Thursday, we went to go see Thursday, and I was so excited. And for me, it was a good deal, like a big deal, because I'm like, I'm seeing them in a 250 capacity room in New
Oh yeah,
Jersey. Like that's one, I got lucky and got that ticket. And two, I'm just like, that's so like historical because of where they came from. They're here. I get to witness them. And it's the closest thing I'll have to what they used to be. And this is so great. And I was trying to explain to them because to him, these bands are all new, right? They're
yeah,
new. And I'm like, Thursday is like, wow, past 20 years, like 25 years, ish, something like that. Like they've been around a long time. And just like seeing it through his eyes, or like even like some of these pop punk bands too. Like when he got into the story so far, I'm like, I saw them what, 2011, something
oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like back in the day, I saw them opening up for Newfound Glory all the time, and now the story so far is just like psh, they're huge, they're larger than life, and I'm like hearing him think they're newer, and I'm like, dude, I saw them like so many times back in like I said 2011, 2010,
And
and
like
now they're big.
and don't get me wrong, I'm not shaming people for finding music
Right.
like bands for the first time. It's I'm shaming the promoters and
Mhm.
all the people who put the festivals together that are like, yeah, no, like there's an old head problem in in like our this whole like giant
Mhm.
genre classified as rock. Cause like I said, if you go look up like a Sonic Temple or like literally any major like big music festival, all the headliners are classic rock like 80s bands,
Yeah.
maybe a band from the 90s. And then everything under them, what most like casual listeners of like rock radio or like Sirius XM radio or just Discovery, like A Day to Remember, Beartooth,
Yeah.
like Motionless in White, like they're just discovering them, but they all know like Breaking Benjamin, who's like not old, but like I would consider because Breaking Benjamin has been around since like '99, I think.
Right. They've been around, yeah, a while for the most part too.
And but
I
like
don't
you would
even
see
know.
them like below like the '80s headliner, and then below that is like the emotionless, like the bands that have been really putting into work the last 20 years,
Yeah.
but are
They
barely getting that recognition,
I
which
believe
is
with the
just
old
crazy.
heads. Cause when I had Matt of Troubled Minds, he was talking about like how he discovered music his first memories of falling in love with music because we like that's the question we ask everyone. And we like whatever, and he was just like talking about how he found me. I think I brought up Tony Hawk, and I was like, a lot of people say Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I mean, it is what it is. It's how we found it. And he
Oh
was like,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say that, but he's like, a lot of old heads. I was like, see, but this is the thing. Technically, like these old heads are telling you, oh, you can't find it that way. We all did. Who cares where you found it? Like, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we got in this talk about the old heads in the scene. I'm like, trust me. I'm like, when I was at Warp Tour and I first heard of Rancid, people were like, oh, well, you should have known about them. If you like punk, you should have liked you should know about them, not finding them on Warp Tour, or not finding them because of like Good Charlotte, like things like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, that's how I found him and like things like that. So like Good Charlotte was my gateway into all that. I'm like, and I know like people thought they were posers, whatever, but I'm like, that's how you found it. There's always some old head, like even me, if I like heavier music, there's always some old head trying to tell me, "Oh, okay, well, you can't like this," or even Turnstile, how big they got big. And people are trying to say, like, oh, well, you didn't like them before that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Before Glow On. Yes, I did. But do I love Glow On? Yeah, I think that's like a great record. And I think it's just phenomenal. And I still like their other stuff, but like I'm allowed to say, like, hey, I think Glow On is really like their best work because it's like what when they perform that performance, like we were talking about, that's where they're really thriving, and I'm like, I think it's fantastic. I think they went from this hardcore band to, like, showing that, like, "Hey, you don't have to be a certain way to be hardcore. You could still have hardcore and have these melodic record out here." But the old heads don't wanna hear that. They wanna call you
Yeah.
a
No.
poser because you like Glow On. I'm like, "I don't care. It's a great record." And I'm like, trust me, I was telling him, I'm like, "I've heard it all." There's, so many old heads that I know we reach out to that are part of the scene that I'm like, I know they're saying no because they take a look, 2 girls, a podcast, no, we're out. And I'm like, "That's okay. I don't need you, like, that's fine." But,
Yeah.
like, you experience that a lot where I would, like, be just so scared if I had, like, the opportunity, I don't know, trying to think of one off the top of my like, a really old head that I, like, would be across from. I don't know. But if I did, it would be like, "Man, I'm scared." Because if I mess this up, just there everyone's gonna come for
Yeah.
you.
Most of these people who put on these festivals, they're like all the old heads that are just like, oh yeah, you're like they'll put like Einstein Kills like way down lower on
Mhm.
that lineup because they're a new band.
Yeah.
But literally like been around since what, like 2008,
Yeah.
2009.
They've been
Already
around.
almost 20 years as well. Like all these bands that are blowing up now from like radio play from like the Sirius XMs and like all the Spotify stuff. Like I said, old heads because they've been around for like 20 years now, but they're just barely being recognized by like the
Mhm.
rock genre community as a whole.
It's just it's
And it's frustrating. And we need to change that. And we need to take a page out of like rap, hip hop. Like, you know how many new up and coming rap artists, hip hop artists, pop artists are on the rise like monthly compared to
yes.
like the rock genre? Like, we need to start taking stuff from that because that's the only way like the scene will start striving again is
And
like starting to pick up new people.
and they're so gatekeepy too. Like that's the thing. I've noticed the rock genre for sure. They're alternative. They are very gatekeepy. They just are, and they're one of those ones that, like you said, pay your dues. You have to do this, and I just think that I hate that. Oh god, Papa Roach. That was one I commented under once because I was like, their mental health, but I know I have no business like sitting with Papa Roach. Would love to sit with Papa Roach.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh,
Jacoby, if you're
oh,
listening, watching,
oh my god. I w-
come on both of our shows. We love you.
I would
We want
love.
you to hear right now. We'll do a double interview for both episodes.
Oh my god.
We'll just
I
knock them out together right now.
He is bucket list. He is like again another bucket. There are certain people that I'm like Jason Alon, Jacoby, like those people are bucket list that I
I
would
just want to
like.
talk to Jacoby about Scarred.
Like so much, right? Yeah, like there's so much stuff you could talk about him, what he's overcome, scarred, but just like their career, like there's
Yeah,
so much you
there's
could
so
talk.
much to talk.
And he seems so nice. I was like, I would love to talk to him, and Like we
And
already
if you
talked.
ever want to talk about a band, you let me know. I'm so down.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, you
it'll.
are so great to talk to. Like, you make this so easy. Like
Oh,
that
good.
you're so like, I had so much fun doing this. Like, you made it so
Awesome.
easy to talk. Like, it doesn't even feel like we've been here this long.
No, I was just like, I was like, oh man, I'm like, that's the biggest compliment for me is when anyone says that. Like, again, my last one, but I'm like, that's always the biggest compliment, you know? It's like, because when we started the podcast, it was like, we want to make it fun. We want to make it where people want to come back. We want to make it where people want to listen, not just for the bands, but for us. So when we do other episodes, like I want it to be like everything. And luckily, somehow we've been able to do it. Like, I don't know. I'm like, we've just found our footing because in the beginning it was rough. And like when I go back and listen to their first episodes, I'm like, oh my God. Like there was a Fall Out Boy episode and everyone's like, yeah, I listen. I'm like, don't. No, you need to not listen to that one. You did not listen to that episode. That was just a solo. Let me hop on. Let me make sure my audio is good. Whatever. Let me figure this out. And but yeah, no, this was that. This is gonna be so great. Like this one, I'm like,
Hopefully, I have the record for longest episode,
you probably do.
and
You
hopefully, I can keep that record.
you probably will. Like there was one guy we had on. I think he had ooh hour? No, actually, you might. Justine did a solo like Billie Eilish. She loves Billie Eilish. And
Oh.
I was like, Justine, I think this might be the longest one. So who knows? Like this one, yeah. We'll see when I chop it up and like figure out, all right, how do I put this one in, that one in? Because I stopped recording this one. We'll figure it out. But I'm
We'll
sure
figure
this
it
one
out.
is up there, this one for sure. But oh my gosh, but you have a great rest of your night.
You too.
And all right, guys, that was our fun little hot takes with Gibby. A lot of fun times. I hope people don't get too offended at anything that's said in here. Like these are just hot takes and just us talking music and what's going on. So I hope that you enjoyed this fun little thing. Again, I know the holidays don't look the same for everyone, so I wanted to put it out there. And again, I know we are all running around crazy or trying to get through the holidays, doing whatever we can to be comfortable right now. So yeah, I just thought let's just put it out. So yeah, go follow Unsigned Pop Punk. All links below. Go check out Gibby and everything he's a part of because it's really, really cool and I really appreciate him. As for our show, we will be taking a 2 week break. So no show Christmas and then the week after New Year's week. But we will be back the week after. We will be with episode 100 and I cannot wait to share this one. If you know me personally, you know who it is. If you don't, you'll be surprised. One of the highlights of my lifetime was to have this guest on. It is a guest I wanted to have immediately when I started the podcast, and I thought of them as somebody that's a big mental health advocate and yeah, highlight of my lifetime. And I can't wait to share that one. It's yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So I really hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season, however it looks. And we cannot thank you enough for all the support this year because truly I know wholeheartedly we would not have gotten to do half of the shit we did this year, talk to half the people we did without the support of everybody. And we cannot thank you enough. I, from the bottom of my heart, when I started recording this thing in the corner of my little townhome, I never thought it would get this far. And to have moments like I did this last past weekend with our guest you'll meet when we come back, uh, I know it's because of the support of everyone listening, sharing, following, all that good stuff. And I cannot thank everybody enough. It means the absolute world that you guys are listening to this thing and supporting this thing so much. So I hope you guys have a great holiday season, however it looks. And we will see you guys in 2025 with an amazing episode. All right. Bye, guys.